Welcome back to Aunt Debbie's Boutique. If you're new to the channel, it would probably be helpful if you would watch the introductory video. It will give you some more information about this channel. Thank you for joining me today. On our last video, we made this cute little basket that we put our blanket and our baby bib and our burp rag in, added some diapers and some wipes, and it's all ready for a baby gift. But today, we want to learn how to make dividers for the baskets, just in case we want to make a basket for our sock drawer, or for any sort of reason that you want smaller divisions. I'm going to use this practice basket I have. It's made out of foam. It's not nearly as sturdy as the other one, but I'm going to use it for the demonstration. What you're going to need is more Peltex. This Peltex is a Pellon product sold by the yard. I buy it by the bolt. And it is Peltex 71F. This is what it looks like. One-sided fusible. And we need 7. This basket we're going to divide down the middle and 3 compartments on each side. So we need 7, if I computed it right, pieces that are 2 3/4 inch wide and 4 1/2 long. And how I computed that was, this is about a 6-inch side, so I cut that in half, and then I cut off about 1/4 for a seam allowance, 1/4 inch. This is a little more than 9, but we're going to pretend it's 9 inches. So I cut that, divided that by 3, and that's going to be a little over 3 inches, but I cut it back to 2 3/4 also. And then the height is about 5 inches. I cut these to 4 1/2, just so they're not sticking up over the top. So that's how I computed the size of these. Now we're going to do something kind of interesting, the way we arrange this. If this is our basket looking down, we're going to make one piece that starts in 1/3 of the way. Let me mark my sides so that we have 3 on the long sides and 2 on the other. We're going to make a piece that goes like this, bends and goes like this, and bends and goes like that. So it's got 3 pieces of Peltex in it. Then we're going to make a corner piece here and a corner piece here. If you have a real long basket, you're going to make a lot of those 3-part ones. So I have, for the 3-part one, I have a piece of fabric that's 5 inches tall by 10 inches long, and that's a little long, and I know it, but we're going to cut it down when we get there. And we're going to make 3 dividers on this. Then I've got 2 other pieces that are 5 inches tall also, and I cut them a little over 6 inches. And we're going to put our other 2 on this. And then we're going to need another piece of each the same size. So let me get that real quick. I'm back, and I have the extra pieces. Sorry, I didn't bring everything with me to the sewing table. What we're going to do is fuse these on there, and then we'll have right sides together so we can turn them wrong side out, and we will stitch in between the lines. But first of all, let's fuse these together and just leave about 1/8 of an inch to maybe 1/4 in between. Did it the wrong way. Okay, that's fused. And just so I get these in the right place, fuzz here. I'm gonna use it from this side first, and then I'll turn it over. Now we could make it all one piece and then steam our seam in it like we did with the basket, but I think this makes it a little easier. We want to make sure we have some extra around the edges. Okay, let's try it out before we start stitching. We'll have one that goes like this, one that goes like this, and one that goes like this. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do turn it the right way, is take this to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew it from this side because I want to sew right up next. I didn't cut these real even. I just cut them out real quickly. So I have these lined up straight. So I'm going to sew right down here and right down here, but not on the ends. And I'm going to do that with all three of these. And then I'll meet you back over here. I'm back. I have stitched the long sides of all three of these. I went ahead and turned this one inside out. Gonna give it a good steam press. And let's turn these inside out. They're a little tough because this Peltex is so stiff, but it will turn. Almost got that one too tight. Steam it. And now it's laying nice and flat. Okay. Let's practice fit this. Turn that way, this way. Did it backwards there. Like that's what I want. Okay, now then, let's take it back to the sewing machine. And we're going to sew these two together right here at our crease. And these two right here. I'll go stitch those and be right back. Now we have our seams sewed together so that our divider's going to fit in our basket just perfectly. Now I've gone ahead and turned under the ends. You want to turn them inside about halfway of what's sticking out. I left one. Actually, it looks like I left two. But let's, sorry for knocking the camera. It was supposed to be more stable this way. Okay, you can see I've turned it in about halfway till it meets the, so you want to be sure and leave plenty of extra space because you can always cut these off. A couple of mine were a little bit close. The ends can be a little bit cantankerous. Okay, I'll fix that other one off camera, but you can see how I turned it in. Now then, it's going to fit in our basket like this. We want to stitch it to the edges with the part that's still sticking out. Okay, to make sure it's even, let's measure. This is about 9 inches. And I'm going to use a friction pin, friction or friction, I don't know how it's pronounced. But these go away with heat. So I'm marking it in thirds. And I'm going to kind of eyeball it to the bottom. And then I'm going to measure the ends and just halfway on it. Get that real straight. So let me straighten it. Better. This basket didn't work out as good as the other one because I didn't use the stiff Peltex in it, so it's not line it up quite as good. Okay, so now I'm going to start pinning these on my lines. And I'm stopping it right here underneath where we stitched. I did a different kind of binding on this one, so it doesn't look quite like the last one. But I'm going to go in there and just stitch this with those seams turned in so we don't have any raw edges. Then I'll move to the next one, then to the next one, and it can get kind of hard to maneuver in there. So it's best to start with one of these ends and move around so that you always have a bigger spot. You'll see when you start sewing, but we're going to start on this end, and I can turn it either way to stitch it. And since this is more open, I'm going to stitch it this way. Your last seam is going to be a little bit troublesome, but you'll be able to do it. Okay, I'm going to go up to the sewing machine and do that, and I'll meet you back. I should add too that you could just seam these seams up and just let it set in there, but it won't hold its shape nearly as well. So we want to attach these to our basket. And also make sure that you keep the outside nice and smooth.